Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Sports Talk and the Success Table. I greatly appreciate you tuning in today. If you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to get all our up-to-date content. We have another NFL athlete coming on our show today, Keith Lewis, defensive back. He went to the NFL in 2004 in the NFL draft. He played with San Francisco. He was picked in the 6th round by San Fran. He's tuning in right now. Let's get it started. Keith, how are you doing, sir? How are you doing, sir? Your volume, my friend, your volume. Sorry for the delay, audience. We have Keith working on his Bluetooth. Man, we have a good matchup in college basketball tonight. Duke versus Kentucky. Leave it down in the comments section if you're watching it tonight. Keith, how are you doing, sir? Keith, how are you doing, sir? Here we go. We're tuning in. Keith, how's it going, man? Hey, you're on the mute button, man. Keith, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Glad to have you on our show and get you off the mute button.
I am so bad with this. I'm glad my son was here to help me. I was like, I don't know what to do.
I hear you, man. Well, wanted to welcome you on with us on Sports Talk 1996, the Success playlist on YouTube. And let's kick it off with how did you get involved with football as a kid?
Oh man, that's an interesting story. It's one of those things that being born and raised in Sacramento, your parents want to keep you involved and just keep you busy more than anything. So they were like, "Oh, we're gonna play football," and I'm like, "Oh, that sounds terrible," but okay, we went and we did it, and made it through like 2 practices. My mom came to pick me up, and I already quit. And she was like, "Wait, what? You turned in your equipment?" And I was like, "Yeah." I didn't like being yelled at. You're 8 years old, and people yelling at you and stuff. It didn't sit well. And she found out she wasn't going to get a refund. And she said, "Oh no, well, look like you playing this year." So we ended up playing, and the rest was history after that.
Hey, it was destiny, man. It was destiny. So, so scrolling it a little bit forward, what was your expectations ahead of the '04 NFL draft?
You know what? If my expectations were obviously high. Um, I I kind of put myself in my own predicament though. Uh, but with that being said, I was supposed to go the first day. I know I wouldn't go the first, second round, but I easily thought I would go the third. Um, when I had an incident at a bar fight before the draft, so that definitely doesn't help the situation. And so then after that, uh, it was right before my senior year. So right after that, it turns into, oh, Keith Lewis is a locker room problem, and Keith Lewis is that, and Keith Lewis is that, and it just, so it all you could do is rely on your play and your character. You know who you really are. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's an incident that happened as an isolated incident. It's not like it's something that occurs all the time, but that's all. That's all it takes. It just takes one person to say one thing about your character, and then the next person to tell the next person, next person tell the next person, and then you just got to prove them all wrong. And that's what it's all about half the time, and that's half the battle right there. Just all you can do is believe in yourself, and I knew as long as I got a foot in the door, I knew I was gonna be okay. So getting drafted 6th round wasn't the worst thing. Uh, I did start stressing out. People were calling, but they were talking about totally different things. And you're asking your parents like, "Mom, is the phone like on? Like, what's going on?" You start getting worried. Like, you're like, "It's the 6th round now." I'm starting to get really worried. So you know what? But everything happens for a reason, and like I said, I wouldn't take anything back.
Yes, sir. So, Keith, what was your favorite moment in the NFL? If you had to pick one moment.
Favorite moment in the NFL. Um, you know what? This is perfect timing. Brian Young just got inducted to the San Francisco 49ers Hall of Fame over the past weekend. We were supposed to be there. We got invited to it, but we had other obligations. I shouldn't have said that. That's terrible. But I'm just saying we already committed to doing other projects. I know that's a big ordeal, but with that being said, we had Brian Young was playing the Minnesota Vikings, looking me in the eye as like my first start ever. He was like, "Your mom's not here to save you now, boy." And I'm like, "Oh my lord." I'm a young pup, So Brian Young talking to me like that, I'm like, got it. But he was so intense about it, and just I remember the look like it was yesterday. It's just little things like that stand out that you miss so much about the game.
I hear you, man. So, scrolling it forward for you personally, life after football, how have you applied those trials and tribulations that come with the game to your personal life?
It's been it was challenging at first. I think if another player said that the transition from football to your second career or whatever you're bound to do after football, and said that it wasn't hard, I would tell them that they're full of shit, because it's not. It's you don't. Nothing else is good enough, if that makes sense. There's nothing else that's going to pay what football pays. There's nothing else that's going to, unless we're playing football and studying to be a surgeon at the same time. It's just different things. Like, you think of all these. There's some people that get, the Michael Strahans that get the layups. And you get those. There's a lot of them that get layups, but at the same time, there's literally 80 to 85% of us that don't. So you need to figure out that next that next lane that you're gonna take. I think that was the hardest thing. Just trying to transition from playing football to, okay, now I'm done. But am I done or am I not done? You don't. You're always like, oh, I feel like there's a little bit of gas in the tank. It's like that dying dog that you don't want to put him down because he had that one good day of life. And you're like, oh, he's not ready yet. And that's how I would look at a football player. It's like, oh man, I just had a good workout. I'm ready to go play again. But it was difficult, just to try to figure out what I wanted to do.
Yes, sir.
The football gives you a hell of a head start in life. You get a jump start. You get there's a lot of things that they do for you and that they still do for us now today. That still puts us in a good situation. But when I transitioned over, and then I was like, oh, coaching. No, coaching is not. It wasn't for me. I figured when I lost love for the game, I literally lost love for the game. So now we started a paint company. We have 2 food trucks, and my wife owns a bar, and we just keeps going on from there. But it's just, like I said, it took a while to figure it out. It took almost 5-6 years.
Yes, sir. You guys are killing it, man. You guys are killing it. Hey, you brought up the locker room side of things. My next question, which team do you think would benefit the most by signing Odell Beckham Jr., the recently released guy from Cleveland?
I would say the Niners could definitely use him. Obviously, the Raiders, after losing Ruggs, it almost sounds like the Raiders are going to get him, to be honest. That's what reports have been saying. Do I think he's – I don't – I think once you go Hollywood, though, it's kind of hard to get back in football. And I think Odell Beckham just went Hollywood. And it changes a lot of things. You got to think about people in their prime that went Hollywood. You could even think about, we could go way back to the boxer. What was the one that became rapper? Roy Jones Jr. He was when he was in his prime. When he was in his prime, he was doing his thing, and once you lose that edge, I don't think you could just turn it back on. It's not a switch that you could just be like, oh, I'm still that killer again. I don't think he has that instinct anymore. So I don't know who could really benefit from. If you want to benefit for a hell of a pregame show, then then there you go. But he hasn't performed in years, so I don't. What do you say to that? Oh, we froze up.
Okay. Hey, you're back, my friend. You're back. We lost connection there for a moment. I was about to message you.
Okay.
We were talking about Odell.
Yeah. So where were we at? Where we leave off?
Where you think he's gonna potentially impact a team?
I don't think he could impact the team. I literally think he went Hollywood. It's kind of hard to turn on and off the switch and say, hey, I'm a football player again. He hasn't performed in how long? He performed before the game, every game. He hasn't performed during the game in a long time. So it doesn't. I don't see him being. I don't see him being a factor in the NFL this year at all. Period. Point blank.
What about if he went to New England?
He went to New England. Who's going to get on the ball?
Mac Jones is pretty decent, man. He's
okay, but
70% completion rate.
So we could go that route. What about his durability?
Rightfully so. Rightfully so.
He goes so hard during pregame, he gets hurt during the game. I don't get it. I really will never understand when he has something to prove. He was doing his thing. Like I said, once you go to Hollywood, that all goes out the window. You can't just turn off and on the switch. It doesn't work that way. That's not how it works in the NFL.
Yes, sir.
I promise you. So if you're gonna be Hollywood, just be Hollywood. It'll change the love for you. It's like you still well loved, but at the same time, I don't think he really cares about the game anymore.
He's after the Beckham catch, the one-hander, went prime time, and he's just it's with the Giants with Jones. Then he goes to Baker Mayfield. Then I really don't trust either of them. Do you? Come on, Danny Dimes.
Okay, but you said Baker Mayfield.
And
Baker Mayfield
they've clashed heads ever since they.
but that's he's a competitor. He's a winner. Odell wants the ball all the time, but at the same time, if I'm back there running for my life, scrambling for my life every play, like Baker Mayfield, how is that going to work out? Baker Mayfield, he's not one of my favorites, I promise you. But it's just, I don't think Odell Beckham could go anywhere and it'll work out. I think Deshaun Jackson has a better chance of being a bigger input and being a bigger factor in the NFL right now than I do Odell Beckham.
He went to Oakland, or not Oakland, but Las Vegas, excuse me. They just signed him. That's why I don't think Odell will go there.
Oh, there you go. Yes, I forgot about that. Yes. So with that being said, Deshaun will be a bigger factor this year than Odell Beckham will be. Facts. Facts. There we go. Yes. I want you to remember this conversation. Yes.
But let's say for hypothetical reasons, he goes to New England.
Okay.
What do you think he will put up with the Patriots if he goes there?
He's not going to put up anything. How? Okay. Bill Belichick could check a lot of people. Correct. Odell Beckham is not going to do the Patriot way. We all know that. A lot of
players have, just like him, have went there and just flourished.
You're just like him? No way. Name one. Randy Moss wasn't just like him. No.
They're look what Randy was. About? Look what Randy was with the Raiders.
Ocho Cinco didn't flourish.
Well, that's Ocho Cinco. He's a McDonald's man. All eating McDonald's. Come on, man.
I'm just saying, if we're talking about people that flourish, but they coming in with the same personality, same persona as Odell Beckham.
Who else?
You can't. That Randy Moss was the only one who came out and did his thing, and that's rightfully so. But at the same time,
look at Aqib Talib. Talib's another one. Has a big personality.
He does have a big personality, and you see what happened to him.
He played good with New England.
Aqib Talib, he had to check himself though. Correct.
There's been Revis is another one too.
No, okay, but you're talking about these people didn't go Hollywood though. We're talking about Odell Beckham Jr. He is pure Hollywood.
Hey, he's been quiet ever since he went to the Browns, man.
He's pure Hollywood. So I just don't see Belichick saying, I'm gonna be okay with this with the clown show before the game and all this stuff. I don't think he's gonna be okay with that. And it's not a clown show. That's really how he prepares for a game. Everybody prepares differently, and I respect the way he prepares for his game. But you're doing all those spectacular catches and all this during pregame, and you don't perform during the game. When was the last time he performed?
It's been a minute.
Okay, so would you like to get paid for underperforming every like your job right now? You keep getting paid for underperforming year after year after year after year, and you keep getting paid big bucks. You'd be like, this is pretty sweet. I might as well ride it out there, right?
It's very rare. He's if Odell goes to a situation like New England and read his market's at the lowest it could ever probably be.
Yeah.
But the waiver is like $7 million. I don't see any team accepting that. Any team putting it. Seattle. I seen today on ESPN. Pete Carroll. I'll see how it goes. That's one of that's one of the teams that are interested in it.
Hey, but I will tell you though, Seattle, Pete Carroll, Seattle with Odell Beckham, I think will work out.
They already have a beast there in DK Metcalf.
Yeah, you're right, but I'm talking about player-coach relationship. I'm talking about in the respect that he would have for Russell Wilson. Just different things of that nature. I think
their offensive line is not good, man.
Not good. They're the lowest paid offensive line in the NFL, though.
Yeah, he had the same kind of stuff in with the Browns, man. No offensive line. He'd be in the same situation. That's why I brought up New England. They have a decent offensive line. Can actually hold up for at least 3 seconds or 4.
Okay, but can Odell Beckham hold up for 3 or 4 seconds or 3 or 4 quarters?
Hey, he might. You never know.
What? Oh, can we look at the injury report? I want to see his injury report for year to year. He runs like he's hurt nonstop, and it's a real competitor. And this is what people took for granted from Terrell Owens. He played through injury. He played through injury, regardless. You know what I'm saying? And that's people don't respect that anymore. It's like a I don't know. It's weird. Any little nick, you're down. There's a difference between being hurt and an injury. You know what I'm saying? Injury, you need to sit out a couple of weeks. If you're just hurt, you a little ankle sprain and all that, they got plenty of stuff for that. You're good. I promise you.
I don't think it's the same game, man, because it's all
it isn't. It isn't.
Look at these players nowadays and how they hold out from games, ask for more money. That didn't ever. When did that happen when you played? Man. Very, very rare, man.
Yeah, it wasn't. That wasn't common. It wasn't common. I do remember Alex Smith not coming to. Well, no, the only person when I was Patrick Willis, he didn't come in until they figured out his contract. I do remember that. But
one in probably 1,000 players, man.
No, it doesn't happen often, but
Man, that's like a trend, man. Like setting the market for a player, like a specific position. That's like a thing now.
Yeah.
So when there's like a broken finger, nope, I'm sitting out.
Yep.
I'm not. Half their money's guaranteed anyway, so
they're not jeopardizing anything that they don't have to, and that's why they put a lot of incentives into players' contracts these years, because they want you to actually play. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of contracts that are incentive based rather than guaranteed money and yada yada yada. So if you're doing something on an incentive, you're gonna play through injury. And I think that's the way that they need to go from now on.
They'd save a lot of money, man. A
Yeah,
lot of money. A lot of paper.
absolutely.
Hey, this will be my last question for our interview. Jimmy Garoppolo or Trey Lance? Who do you think's going to finish the season out for your 49ers?
Trey Lance. I think Jimmy. I think he's just yeah. This is another thing I always had a problem with is people paying quarterbacks way too soon. Like you give them that money way too soon, and it was let them prove themselves. Like the quarterbacks don't even have to prove themselves anymore. If you start for San Francisco 49ers or Dallas Cowboys or or Las Vegas Raiders, or you start from one of those big teams, you're just supposed to be a paid quarterback because those are unfortunately those three teams are that's the face of the NFL. Just because those would be considered America's teams. No matter how you look at it, you only get Tom Brady's here and there, and they would never say, New England Patriots. No, they never paid anybody. So I just hate the way that they paid him so early on. So he didn't really have to prove himself. So it shows up time and time again when these players get paid so early on, and they never seem to pan out. Like it I don't understand why it keeps happening. So give the youngster some love, and let's see what he could do and see if he could get us to the next level, because Jimmy G had plenty of time. He just ain't got it. After he once again when Hollywood hooked up with the porn star, and it was a wrap after that. We ain't seen the same Jimmy G yet. So I don't know what to say.
Do you think Kansas City's going to regret paying Patrick Mahomes $500 million?
Nope, 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 nope. You see the fight in that dude's eyes every game, man. That kid right there, he deserves every penny. He can't. What else can he prove to you? Like I've showed you year in and year out. That's what I'm saying. You're paying somebody early on that hasn't shown you anything. They haven't shown you any promise. He showed you promise. You can't. You got to pay Mahomes. He should have been paid. No, and he deserves every penny of that, man. Like I couldn't be happier for somebody to get that type of payday.
Those baseball throws, Ed, and he's going to have to adjust that a lot. That's why this year he's kind of regressed in his level of play, man.
I think people are catching on with their scheme and the way that they do things. With that being said, yes, they have to change up a little bit. And they have to change with the way things are going right now. I would never. You can't count them out. You can never count them out. They're like, like the San Antonio Spurs. Like they're going to be in the playoffs. You don't even know what the record is. You don't even care about them during the regular season, but they'll be in the playoffs. And they're just that team right now. And that you just gotta respect. You gotta respect those guys.
Hey, they need to call you out of retirement, man. They're back into their defense. Stinks.
Hey, they're so used to him. They're so used to him putting up so many points that they don't really have to play D anymore. So
they stink, man. They stink.
No.
They don't have no salary cap to pay anybody else, so they gotta rely on Patrick Mahomes to go Iron Man football, play both sides.
Hey, he got a baseball team.
Hey.
you got like I said, you gotta love it. You gotta love. Andy Reid's been around long enough. I know he's gonna make adjustments.
He did the same thing with the Eagles. That's what costed him. That's the trend, man, with him.
Hey, he's still Andy Reid. You know how
He's
hard
not
it
a
is.
Bill Belichick.
Hey, okay, but now you're seeing the Bill Belichick without a Tom Brady. Just like you saw, remember Buddy, that the offensive coordinator that got fired for Indianapolis Colts after Peyton Manning went down. Yeah, he had it too sweet. He was like, oh, I have to work. Yeah, Peyton Manning didn't listen to him. Come on, Peyton Manning called his own plays. And then the dude, Peyton
Hey,
Manning goes down. The offensive coordinator finally had to work, and then he was gone the next year. They went what? 0-16?
hey, they got Andrew Luck out of it, man.
But I'm just saying though, it's when you get situations like that, it makes it sweet for
Definitely,
the whole organization,
for
Just
sure.
like Brett Favre, that whole situation, Aaron Rodgers, that whole situation, Tom Brady, dude, people have it pretty sweet.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. Well, Keith, it's been a blessing to have you on, and this concludes our interview, man. Hey, we'd
I
welcome you
appreciate
back for another one, man.
Hey, I would love to come back. Definitely. Nice talking to you.
You too,
Definitely
sir.
let me know. Remember what I said. Odell Beckham Jr. will not be a factor, but Deshaun Jackson will.
I hear you, man. Hey, we'll see it week 18 who produces more.
Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. Sounds good.
Take it easy, man.
Same to you. Have a